with the House of Cards podcast.
The show where we break down the art of creative real estate investing. Join us as we dive into the world of real estate with insider tips and tricks for making your investments go further. From buying with no money down to flipping properties for profit,
We've got you covered.
Plus, stay tuned for expert guest speakers who will share their knowledge and experience in this ever-changing market. So grab a seat and get ready to learn the secrets to success in real estate investing. And now, from Alaska to New York, your hosts, Chris James and Jesse Stanton.
Yo, good morning. Good morning, Vietnam. Always wanted to do that.
Man? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you, bro?
Good, man. Amazing start to the morning. A lot of new announcements, guys. We know this is an impromptu kind of, Q&A announcement. We're not going to keep you guys here for too long, but we wanted to share some amazing stuff that's going to be happening. And I'm already seeing this in the comments. Facebook user, please, we don't know who, please grant StreamYard access to make your name visible. I believe, Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, is it the top right-hand corner or is it the top left-hand corner is going to be on?
So it's directly above the video, actually. There's a description to the video. If you look right above the video, there's a description. And Chris posted a big, long thing about what the podcast is and some resources and things in there for you. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see a link that says grant StreamYard access to share your name on Bookface. Luke, that's Luke. Are you freaking kidding me, Luke?
Luke, I'm the worst. Good to see you, Joe. In here, Angel. Great to see you, guys. So yes, we got a couple announcements we wanted to talk about. We was initially supposed to, talk about what we talked as far as the TC and make an announcement today. Who's the winner? So what we're going to do is going to extend it to next week, and we're going to make announcement first, whoever that individual is. And then we're going to come on live. And also, we're going to open it up. We're going to make a big post, not just in the House of Cards, but also in the Creative Finance Group to let you guys know. There are many different ways to enter. And also, the more entries, there's going to be specific ways you can actually get more entries. So
quick, Chris, because I missed last week's episode. You guys killed it. You guys did some amazing things. Catch me up to speed real quick, and maybe anybody else who doesn't know what the TC challenge is or how they sign up for that or how you picking the winner. What does that look like? Can you kind of recap that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So those who were here last week, we made an announcement, myself, Gita, and also Angel, in regards to we're offering free TC services. So those who don't know what a TC is a transaction coordinator. So whether your transaction is a cash transaction, subject to whatever you want to put on a land contract, whatever that looks like for your specific business, we're going to TC that for free. We want to provide value and give back to you guys. And you guys have been amazing just being here. You guys been, I think, just more overall, you guys are amazing. You're truly amazing, and you're dedicated, I should say, to the not just to the industry, but to what Jesse and I here. We're glad to be a resource for whatever that looks like for you guys, and we truly mean that. So what this TC challenge is more so, you have to submit an intake. With the intake, you have an email. You're gonna get an email, a bounce back email letting you know you're entered, and also let us know why you deserve the free TC service. Let us know.
So do they post that in the House of Cards? They hit you up individually? Like, how do I sign up for that, bro?
So it will be posted today. So it'll be in the House of Cards. If you're a member of the House of Cards with Chris James and Jesse Stanton, if you're not, please join it. But more so, if you are already a member, you'll see that posting today. And also you'll see the posting in the Creative Finance Group as well. And then literally there will be a link within that post. Just click it and just follow the instructions, and then you'll be entered. And then we're going to make the announcement.
I'm going to go get signed up. You're not biased, right? You're not going to look at is this random, or how you guys choose it? Is it just kind of based on the why it would help them, why it would benefit them? Like, is that kind of how you're picking it, is based on why they tell you they need it?
Yes. So initially, how it could benefit them, and two, more so, we're going to put in the spinning wheel. So the top 10, we're going to put in the wheel. We're going to do it live. We're going to like screen share, show it live, and then have everyone name the top 10. And then whoever it lands on, that individual is going to get it.
Woo!
It's going to be pretty neat.
What's
going on, Chris?
Hopefully you pick me.
Oh, too funny.
Well, dude, speaking of announcements, man, check this out. Can you see this right here? Oh, come on. Now you can see that.
No, yeah, I see it.
Check this out. I had something super dope happen to me this week. I want to share something with you. It's personal, but I'm going to share it with everybody else here too. So we'll just keep this between us gals, so to speak. Now, my entire life, I'm going to be completely vulnerable with everybody right here for a second, okay? My entire life, I've always had, male role models that I've looked up to that complain about certain things. But not the complaining that you think this isn't going down the road you think that it's going down. I'm talking about like manly things. I'm talking about things like my dad or my grandfather getting food stuck in their beard. And I never really thought about it. I could never relate to that before. Okay. Now I took my kids to go pick up my other kids. My two oldest go to school, and I've got my two youngest usually during the day. They help me answer phones and make seller calls and negotiate contracts and do all the things. But when we're done with that and we go pick our other two up from school, usually sometimes we'll stop at this coffee place and I'll get my 2 and 4-year-old like a smoothie or something like that. So we stopped there earlier this week, Chris, and I got a peach smoothie, which was lovely. And I got a little bit of whipped cream right there on top. And bro, every sip of that smoothie, I got whipped cream in my beard. I was like, man, I haven't experienced this in almost 33 years. This is a good problem to have. So that's my win for the week, bro. That's my win for the week. This is me ringing that bell. Look at that. I got food stuck in my beard. So I thought you'd be a little more ecstatic about it. Not everybody is Chris freaking James, where we can grow a beard in 2 seconds.
Oh, that is
some of us, it might take a little long, or 33 years.
33.
Speaking of which, our birthday is right around the corner, actually.
That is correct. Our birthday is right around the corner.
Chris and I are 20 days apart. Fun fact. So basically twinsies. Dude, hey, well, we got everybody here. Enough with the jokes. Stop kidding around, guys. We're getting serious, okay? In all seriousness, we have an amazing podcast coming up next week. Put this on your calendar, guys. You guys do not want to miss next week's podcast. If you guys are looking to leave your W-2s, if you're looking to really get into some momentum, if you're in sub 2, if you're not in sub 2, if you know creative finance, if you don't know creative finance, guess what? Next week's episode, we are going to outline how you guys can get into freaking properties without any cash, credit, credentials, without having to find motivated sellers, hell, without even potentially talking to a seller.
Yeah.
You don't have to have any money. You don't have to know how to negotiate terms or pitch creative finance. None of it. So I'm really excited. This is going to be a 30-day challenge that we're going to put together, and we're going to announce everything next freaking Saturday. So make sure that you guys are here. This is going to be an awesome one. So please, if you know somebody who would benefit, if you know somebody who's struggling, if you know somebody who is like, man, like I've been at this for 6 months, 2 months, a week, a year, maybe 2 years, maybe more, and they're still struggling trying to figure out how to get into this game. Because, guys, there is so much opportunity. There are so many people. There are so many resources and relationships to be had for people not to be making money. So let's be intentional for a second. If you know somebody who would benefit from this, please, next week is going to be absolutely phenomenal. You do not want to miss this. Super, super excited. Chris, is there anything that I missed?
No, I think for the most part you nailed it right on the head, man. Super excited about next week. Amazing individuals that's going to be joining us. You may or may not know them, but this challenge specifically is going to be a game changer for a lot of people, and that's the biggest thing, because a lot of people don't know how to really actually. I'm just going to say it. When you're working a 9 to 5, right? People only think it's only one way you can really get out of that 9 to 5. But there's so many different ways you can do it without doing the normal real estate stuff, so to speak. Not your traditional like agent, not your traditional like reaching out to like a seller and making these phone calls on a daily, like cold calling. Like, you don't have to do the traditional stuff. So these individuals that's coming on, and what we're going to discuss and the challenge that we're going to do is kind of going to break everything to light and realize that if you really set your mind to it and just think outside of the box just a little bit, it can happen within weeks. Not years, but weeks. So,
Chris, go along with what you're saying, bro. It's interesting because to go along with what you're saying and with what Joel just posted right here, must be intentional and looking for opportunities. This is lit. Joel, thank you. For those of you guys who don't know, Joel, actually, I started my coaching business. It kicked off this week, and it's been phenomenal. We had an amazing meeting on Wednesday. It was only supposed to be 90 minutes, dude, and it turned out to be 3 hours. And it was awesome. It was so cool. The energy was there. The vibe was there. We got some amazing freaking people in our group, and Joel is one of them. We actually had a meeting again this morning, and one of the things that we talked about last Wednesday during our meeting was obviously mindset. Mindset is such a huge thing. And this is something that we actually reinforced again today. We talked a little bit about it today during our coaching meeting. There's a big misconception here when people think about money. When we look at the United States as a whole, and we think there's 3 different classes, right? You got your lower, you got your middle, and you got your upper class. Most people look at that and they think, what is the big differentiating factor here between those 3 classes? Most people would say money. That's not it. That's not the difference between those 3 classes. Most people would say that. The difference between those 3 classes is mindset. It's how they think. It's simply just thinking differently. Maybe it's literally the difference of thinking whether you can or whether you can't. That is all the difference it takes to move between classes and to be intentional and to look for those opportunities, like Joel said. And one of the things that we were talking about was, let's say, everybody who's watching this right now or will be watching this, look at the room that you're in right now. I want you guys to take 5 seconds right now. Let's do this as an active, it's not an, what's the word I'm looking for? Exercise. An active exercise. Let's do a live autopsy right now, guys. Do this with me. I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds, and I want you to look around your room. Stop looking around your room right now. I'm going to give you 5 seconds, and when I say go, I want you to count all of the items in your room that is yellow. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, stop. Now close your eyes. Close your eyes. And I want you to think about all the items you saw that were yellow. How many were there? Throw them in the comments. Open your eyes and throw them in the comments real quick. How many items do you guys see that were yellow? 2, 5, 3, 4. Okay, how many items were red? Now, everybody's probably saying, well, Jesse, I didn't count red. I saw a couple items that were red, but I didn't count red because I was looking at yellow. Now, think about this for a second. Have you guys ever went to go purchase a vehicle?
Yeah.
And when you're going to purchase this vehicle, when you're going to purchase this vehicle, you start doing a bunch of research on it, right? You start looking at reviews, you pull it up on YouTube, start looking at YouTube reviews. Everybody's filming the inside, the outside. They pop the hood. They show you all the containers and hidden storage units and everything kind of all over that vehicle, right? And now you are emotionally tied to it. You are vetted. You are interested in it. So for me, my family got in a car wreck late last year, and we totaled our Durango. Somebody hit us and totaled our Durango. Still need to buy a new vehicle. Imagine being so busy that you need to buy another vehicle and you don't even have time to go buy another vehicle and you need one. How crazy is that? That's the level of busy you guys should be striving for. But I think we're going to end up buying a Chevy Traverse to replace that Durango. And so it's funny, and maybe you guys can all relate with this as well, is naturally, what do you think I started doing? I started doing all the research. I started looking at all the safety ratings and everything like that for the Chevy Traverse. I started looking at things like MPG and storage and how does it compare to the 3 rows of seating Durango that I had? Do I need the bench seat in the middle? Do I not need the bench seat in the middle? Am I okay with the captain's chairs? I've got young kids, so I want something with leather that's going to, easy wipe up, easy to clean. So I'm looking at all these things, right? I'm emotionally involved, and the more emotionally involved I get, I'm like, dude, that's it. That's what I want. Well, guess what happens? What do you think I start seeing when I leave my house and I go drive to Walmart? What do I start noticing on the road that I had never noticed before?
All the same vehicles.
Chevy Traverses. Exactly. I started seeing Chevy Traverses all over the place. Now, before I started heavily looking at them, back before my Durango was totaled, do you think I noticed Chevy Traverses? Nope. I just saw a bunch of dumbass drivers. But now all of a sudden, I started noticing Chevy Traverses. Does that mean that the Chevy Traverses weren't there? No. Similar to this exercise we just did, I had you guys intentionally looking for items in your room that are yellow. And when I asked you how many were red, you said, I don't know. Luke was like, he got me. Does that mean those red items weren't there? Absolutely not. It means you weren't looking for them. They were right in front of you the whole time, but you weren't looking for them. And that's okay. The point of me telling this is to let you guys know there are opportunities all around you. And simply just understanding that you can take advantage of this and you can literally do anything you want. You can literally grab life by the gonads and do whatever it is you're trying to do. Everything you need to be successful is literally right in front of you. The problem is simply how we think, how we perceive those. Take something very, very simple. When you were growing up and you would hear of people losing their house to the bank because they couldn't make payments, how did you think about that? How did you perceive that? Probably until you started changing your mindset and learning about real estate and getting involved in different communities, the discussion changed, right? And now all of a sudden, a lot of people are looking at those like, oh, wow. Not only is there opportunity there for me to be able to put food on the table for my family, but I get to help other people in a bigger way. I get to make a bigger impact on my community. And to be able to do that, to be able to help people, the bigger problems that you can solve, the more money you make. And so these little shifts in mindset, you start looking for those Chevy Traverses and you start noticing them all over the place. There's no shortage of abundance here. It's simply how you perceive them. It's simply how you think. You know, it's funny. When I was in Hawaii, which was phenomenal, by the way, I saw a couple other sub 2 students while I was in Hawaii, but one of them, her name is Phil. Phil, if you're watching this, I effing love you. Me and her have some very deep and meaningful and intentional conversations, and we learn from each other and we challenge each other. And she's such a beautiful individual. Phil, I love you. And while I was over there in Hawaii, her and I, man, we probably spent like 4 hours together. And some of those times we're walking along the beach, and we noticed like all these boats that were taking people out on different excursions and things like that. And it was funny because Phil turned to me and I turned to her, and we're both thinking the same thing. And she looks back at me and she's like, how do we arbitrage one of those and make some money? You got all these rich mofos with boats that are just sitting here. How do we look at that? How do we arbitrage that? How do we get them paid and leverage that boat, find a captain, and let's go do some cool shit with it? And it's neat because it could literally be that simple. But it's got to be backed by action. You can't just dream about it. It's got to be backed by action. I was staying in Waikiki, and my hotel was like right next to like the Trump Plaza. And it was neat because I had this thought that, man, how cool would it be to have a hotel with my name on it? Now, like him or hate him, this has nothing to do with politics. You can't deny the man is obviously very successful. But simply just thinking bigger and asking yourself, what if? What if I could? Because here's the interesting thing, guys. Not to like dive deep too much. Hopefully you guys are getting value from this. Not to dive too deep or deter too much down like a mindset avenue, but simply just think about this for a second. When you start asking yourself the question, what if, what happens to your mindset as soon as that happens? That means that all of a sudden because you ask yourself, what if, now you are open to the possibility. You've opened yourself. You're no longer shut off. There's not this wall in front of you. Think about how many people that you went to school with, or maybe people you're still friends with, that you tell them you want to make $100,000 a month or $1 million a month. I remember when I was getting out of the military, I remember there was this retired colonel. Colonels are high-ranking people. They're right below a general, if you guys didn't know. So this high-ranking guy who's retired, he comes over to my detachment and he's talking to him and he's like, Jesse, I hear you're getting out. And I got out at 14 years. If you do 20 years, you can retire with a full retirement. And he's like, he looked at me and he's like, what the hell are you doing? You've got 6 more years. And I kind of gave him, it's hard to explain to somebody like that who's built a case for their entire life on why they themselves couldn't do something much, much bigger. Not to downplay anybody who's retired in the military or anybody who's working at W-2. I'm not downplaying that. All I'm saying is that isn't a good fit for me because I know that my potential is way more than that. And he told me, he said, they say that over the course of a lifetime, a military retirement equates to about $600,000. He's like, you're going to walk away from that? How do you tell somebody that $600,000, trying to make that, I'm trying to make that in a fucking month, man. How do you tell somebody that who's built an entire lifetime building a case on why they themselves can't do that? But it's interesting because once you start hanging around the right people, the water cooler conversation changes, right?
Yeah.
And then guess what happens, guys? You slowly start to ask yourself the question, well, what if? What if I could? Guess what? What do you start seeing now? Now that you've opened up yourself to the possibility of that happening, you start seeing Chevy Traverses all over the place. Now the real challenge is just figuring out, okay, what's the next step here? And that's what this podcast is. That's what our Facebook is. It's for helping you guys to gain the clarity and the direction you need. The information is out there for you guys to go and do big things. And if you guys can come in to the Facebook group, to this podcast, if you guys can be intentional with what it is you're trying to do, that's why Chris and I put this whole thing on. It's not for us, it's for you guys. We want to give you guys a platform. If you guys need buyers, if you guys need help closing deals, if you guys need transaction coordinating, if you guys need coaching, whatever that is, throw it in the comments. Introduce yourself and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I've got a deal over here in Dallas, Texas. I need blah, 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 blah. I need $50,000. I'm looking for an equity partner. Hit me up. Let Chris and I leverage you guys. I want you to leverage Chris and I. Let us put your shit up here on the screen and help expedite that process. What can we do collectively? We're all here trying to accomplish the same freaking thing. So we should be intentional with taking those relationships seriously and being intentional with them and growing together, holding people accountable.
Yep.
So anyway, sorry guys, to make a long story long. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of value from that, but it's all mindset, man. It's simply just how you think and perceive the world around you.
I couldn't agree more.
Love you, Joel.
I could not agree more. And this kind of ties into more so your business program, your coaching program you just launched, which deep dives into like the mindset, and the overall aspect of what that really entails. And sometimes it could take a long time for people to really develop what that mindset is. Yeah, it took me what 28 years, 27 years to really start specifically thinking about, like, coming from a hospitality restaurant background, thinking like it was just I was living a dream, right? That was my mentality. Running these restaurants and going from a GM to a director operation, like, okay, I'm living the American dream, what society thinks it is. But going into real estate, realizing what you're making on a yearly basis, you can make in a month. That's a game changer. And that opened up a lot of doors. Not just opened a lot of doors, my mindset changed instantly, where I saw endless opportunities. And that's what really I kept, talking to a lot of people around me who didn't at that specific time didn't understand what I was talking about. They thought I was crazy. No, you're scamming people. You're doing this. No, you're just not informed yet. That's all, and that's totally fine. I can't force you to understand, but what I'm going to let you know that I got to pursue what I envision and what's in my mind right now. Do I still communicate with those individuals? No, unfortunately, I don't. They're still at the restaurant. I'm not. So little things like that. I'm glad you brought that up, and more so, I think that'd be if you looking to join Jesse's business coaching program, I think that'd be a perfect opportunity to really explore not just yourself, but your mind and where you want to go in life. I think that's amazing.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's been a blessing being business partners with you. I mean, we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary, man, and I have equally just learned so much from you, dude. I think last year I did more growth and I made more money in 12 months alone than I did in 14 years in the military, man, just by having the right relationships and understanding not what to think, but how to think. And it's just been a phenomenal brotherhood and friendship. So thank you, dude. We're going to have to do something big to celebrate.
No, 100%. 100%. And just as you just stated, like, having the right people around you, man, that is key. That is really key, because if you have the wrong individuals, you're going to wonder why things are not changing, right? So it's amazing that you developed this kind of program and you launched it successfully, and more so, I'm pretty sure it's going to scale at a higher level sooner than later than you expected. So
yeah, it's looking to be on a great trajectory, man. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. So, guys, we came on here. I know this was a shorter podcast, but we just want to give you a little bit announcements as far as what's to come next week. Look out for the posts for the TC announcements in regards to like the free giveaway more so. We may do potentially more than one person. So keep a lookout for that. The more entries, the better for you. We want to make sure everyone's getting across the finish line. Don't matter what stage you are. If you're at the beginner stage where you never did a deal, or if you did 10,000 deals, it doesn't matter. We want to make sure everyone's deals get to the finish line, and we just want to be a resource and ensure that we can expedite whatever that looks like. And again, if Jesse and I don't have the answer for you, we will find that answer for you.
Absolutely. 100%. I want to, before we got just a few minutes left, and I want to highlight somebody real quick. His name is Bobby Bones. This guy is awesome. This guy is amazing. I don't know him personally, but he shared something with me this last week that was just so phenomenal. We are going to be intentional with building the relationship between us, and hopefully take that and kind of compare notes a little bit as to what he has done and how we can come in and help you guys out who might be in a similar situation. So he was an individual who reached out to me, and he's been stuck. He was feeling overwhelmed. He was trying to do everything. And can anybody relate with that? Is anybody else like experience that? Throw it in the comments. Like, let me know. I want to know who is feeling like they are overwhelmed. They're trying to do everything at once. They don't have the clarity, the direction. Yep, Bobby Bones. And Claudia says, I'm stuck. Let's unstuck you, Claudia. The big thing is that learning what your superpower is and learning to hone in on that. And it was neat because I've never had a relationship with Bobby, but he's kind of been following Chris and I, and one of the big common reoccurring themes, if you guys have been following us for any amount of time, is getting intentional with doing one thing, being good at one thing. Everybody tries to overwhelm themselves with literally trying to do everything. They overthink every step, right down to which CRM they should use. They spend 2 weeks just researching and talking with people about which CRM they should use. You're not going to know. You're not going to know. You can get some advice on what people like and what they don't, but those people think differently than you. They're organized differently than you. You just got to take action. And that's the fastest way to figuring this out. And what Bobby did was he focused in on one thing. He focused in on his superpower, his avatar. He worked on building that strength. And you know what's really cool is he closed his first deal, I think it was May 3rd. I think it was 10 days ago. And he's already got another one set to close on May 20th. And so he reached out to let me know that, hey, I focused in and I got really intentional with getting really good at one thing. And I started building relationships and leveraging those relationships in my business. So those people can be good at one thing and I can be good at one thing, and we can all share a watermelon, because what most people are doing, most people would rather eat their own freaking grape. And we see it all the time.
Yep.
All the time. If everybody truly understood it on a very high level, the power of community and how pertinent building deep and meaningful relationships are with people, you would make that a top priority in your business. And if you don't know how, then that is where I would start. I'll get really intentional. Take out a notepad. I always have a pen and notepad around me. Take a notepad down and say, all right, I want to start building high level, deep and meaningful relationships, and start figuring out what value can I bring to the table? How can I start doing this? What is my outreach going to look like? What is my introduction going to look like? Because when you think about it, when we talk about branding, when we talk about marketing, when you're talking about your business, think of it in the context of, what would I want people to say about me behind my back? And that's the context you should be thinking around your business and the type of person you want to become. It helps give you a lot of clarity and understanding. This is where I am. This is who I need to become. And if you don't know what that looks like yet, then simply just asking yourself, what do I want people to say about me behind my back? Because in its most lamest form, that is your brand. When you understand that that is your brand, it really deepens your thought into what you do and how you act. There's a book that we all read in our book club. If you guys aren't part of our book club, by the way, go join our book club. We just have literally the best conversations, and just in a group setting, you can literally see everybody leveling up from the conversations and being intentional with the things that we're collectively reading together. There's a book that we just got done reading called Declare War on Yourself by Mark Summers. And he talks, a big reoccurring theme throughout that book is getting your act together. And so when you go to think about posting smart ass shit on Facebook, is that what somebody would do of the caliber of person that you're trying to become? If you posted something on Facebook and Grant Cardone was going to see it, would that strengthen or ruin the opportunity to build a relationship with him based on what you just posted? So think about that for a second. Hopefully you guys are getting value from this. Hopefully that at least provides a little bit of clarity on some of the things that you guys do. The way that you think, the way that you talk, and the way that you walk moving into next week. Because if you guys want millionaire results, you have to start doing millionaire tasks. You have to start thinking like a millionaire right now. You don't have to be a millionaire, but the faster that you can realize, the quicker that you can start thinking like a millionaire and start noticing those opportunities, right? Those Chevy Traverses. And you can start being intentional with how you want to capitalize on those opportunities. You got to put yourself into the mindset of this person right here. Not who you are right now, but this person right here. Today, think about the person you want to be in a year from now, and 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. How does that person think? How does that person talk? How does that person articulate themselves? How does that person handle themselves? How does that person build relationships? Are they positive? Are they upbeat? And if you're not that person, that'll give you the clarity and the insight into what you need to be doing right now. Is this person posting memes and stuff on Facebook? Not to say you can't post memes, but what I'm saying is are you being as intentional as you can be? I guess is what I'm trying to say. Are you being as intentional as you can be? And Facebook and Instagram, money, it's all basically just a tool to get from here to there. So make sure you are leveraging those tools appropriately. Are you going into Zooms, and are you going onto podcasts or different meetings and just putting yourself on mute? Or are you getting in the chat and saying, hey, today I would love to meet with 5 new people, and I would love to line up a meeting with these 5 new people next week. I'd love to hear more about what you guys have going on. What does your business look like? What are you in need of at this time? I'd love to see where I can come in and provide value. Whether I can help you directly or not, a lot of you guys that I've talked to are, you identify yourselves as connectors. That's your avatar, is being a connector. Are you intentional with connecting people? Like I said, there are so many ways and opportunities that we can all make money together, and it's up to you to realize that and to be intentional with it and to document it. So anyway, I digress, guys. If you guys have any questions, Chris and I are going to, we're going to hop off here. I'm actually going to go run to my kids' basketball game. Today's his last game, so I'm excited to see at least the tail end of it. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, if you guys need anything, please, you can reach out to Chris and I directly. And like Chris said earlier, if we don't know the answer, we can get you the answer. Odds are we know somebody that does. So let us be a resource, a tool for you guys in any way that we can. Don't think, please, whatever you do not go through this week and feel sorry for yourself and think, man, I'm not where I want to be. I don't have the traction I need. I don't have the clarity that I need, and just sit there and let another week go by. You can either have a month of progress or a month of just being in the exact same situation. It's up to you to understand who is it that you want to be in 5 years? Who do you want to be in 10 years? What is that person doing? How do they think? And how can you start thinking like that person? The faster you can do that, I kid you not, that's the fastest way to start producing those results. You'll start to see yourself becoming an entirely different person. Yep. So Maj, dude, I freaking love you, bro.
Maj, what's going on, man?
Dude, tell Anna hey for us. The Maj man cometh. That's what I say.
Hilarious. But no, as Jesse said, thank you all. See you guys next week. Don't forget, May 20th, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time, sharp. We're going to have some amazing announcements and individuals. If you're working a 9 to 5, I think you should definitely show up to this, especially if you're trying to escape that. So it's going to be amazing. Definitely don't want to miss it. We are scheduled to go for an hour and may go a little bit longer. Just want to mentally prepare you for that. So we appreciate you guys, and until next time.
Thanks for listening to the House of Cards podcast with Chris James and Jesse Stanton. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and have learned something new about real estate investing. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more tips and tricks. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform.